Welcome to A1R Psychic Radio and Moonstruck TV. You're here with Amanda Hall, Psychic, all the way from the Gold Coast. I hope you've had an awesome week. It has been a really amazing week, I believe, right around this beautiful globe of ours. Lots of people have sort of been messaging me and telling me that they're really pleased that Mercury went direct. Finally, people started to get some clear communication happening and they felt like their lives were starting to rev up a gear or two. So let's hope it continues as we sort of move on into the change of the seasons and our lives are progressing and changing. But the most important thing that we need to remember is always be kind to ourselves, but even be kinder to other people that we come across on our day-to-day journey. A little smile goes a long way because lots of people don't even get that pleasure of having somebody just smiling at them for no reason whatsoever. So it can really be the highlight of their day. So this week I have something really exciting to share with everybody. For those of you that have been watching the show for a little while now with me, you'll know that I created a Simply Tarot set approximately 12 years ago here in Australia that went worldwide. Well, I'm very, very excited to announce this week we have our new addition to the stable of our tarot products, The Secrets of Tarot. And this has only just been launched here in Australia a couple of weeks ago now. So I'm really, really excited to present this today that I've finally got a copy of our own project. And what this is a Teach Yourself Tarot set based on the belief systems that I've worked with for over 40 years. And I've always worked in teaching in this area, trying to help people understand and work with their own psychic ability. So as I said, 12 and a half years ago, I was fortunate enough to release our first tarot project with an Australian publisher called Hinkler Books here in Australia. And we launched the worldwide success story of Simply Tarot, which is still in the market today, but now we're up to our third project, which is The Secrets of Tarot. And this is a Teach Yourself kit with a full colour book, instructions and a set of the original Simply Tarot cards now that have been renamed The Secrets of Tarot. So they've had a little facelift and they've had, some different borders and things like that added to them. So if you want to know more about them, please head to my Facebook page, Amanda Hall Psychic, and we'll have more information there for you. But if you happen to mention when you want to place an order for a set of these that you're an A1R Psychic Radio or Moonstruck TV customer, we'll give you a little extra discount. So moving right along with the show this week, and as we've just been talking tarot, for those of you that have been joining us every week, you'll know each week I feature a card of the week. That's for all of us to share. And I usually draw the card only hours before the show so that the energy's fresh and it sort of hopefully strikes a chord with somebody out there. Most people sort of say to me, oh, thank you, it's been great help, that it's really helped me to focus my week. So this week I'm really proud to say we've got a very positive card this week. We've got the Nine of Cups. Now, this is a card taken from the original deck of the Simply Tarot that I was talking about a couple of moments ago. So the Nine of Cups is the card of improvements underway. We need to be careful that we don't become feeling too smug or pleased with ourselves. So sometimes I think we can allow our ego to get in the road when we've got exciting new projects or exciting new opportunities on the horizon for ourselves. So this is the card certainly sort of, and I'll hold it up one more time, does tell us that we have improvements underway, but we need to keep ourselves in a nice level place. Don't get too the feeling of being smug or pleased, we need to keep that under control. So if we do that, I think we can only expect great things to be coming our way. Now, I know that we've been covering a little bit about astrology over the previous shows, and we finished last week the 4-part series on the sun, which the sun is the heart and soul of your chart. It's where we find our zodiac or our star sign, and most of us know what that is, but very few of us really understand where our moon is. We have 10 planets that make up our astrology chart, and each one of them can be found in a different energy, and they don't all sit where your sun sign is. So we're on to our second part of the moon this week. So the moon sign it shows us in the chart how we handle things emotionally. So for an example, you may have an Aries sun, which makes you fiery and dynamic and outspoken and me first and a real motivator, but you could have your moon in Cancer, which then on an emotional front, you would seem very marshmallow, you would seem very soft and gentle, you would have great sensitivity, you would be able to feel things and sense things long before other people could, and sometimes you would need some time by yourself to be able to understand how the moon works for you. So you can see the difference there that we're starting to put together like a jigsaw puzzle of you, of how you take your face out into the world. So today we're going to be working with the next 3 moon signs, which is Cancer, Leo and Virgo. Now, Cancer does actually rule the sign of the moon in Cancer, actually is the sign 4. Each planet is assigned to a star sign, and the moon actually does sit natally or comfortably in Cancer. It's said to be dignified, or it means that's the sign that it rules. So if you have moon in Cancer in your chart, yes, you are soft and gentle. Yes, you can be quite sensitive. Some people say psychic. But you also are looking for emotional security. So you can be manipulative. You can be a little tiny bit deceitful in your quest to always satisfy this craving need to be emotionally secure. So be aware of if you do have the moon in Cancer and you are sort of trying to get that result, make sure that you're not treading on someone else's toes, or you're not doing something to hurt someone else just so that you can have your emotional needs satisfied. If you can be aware of that, I mean, on the very positive signs of the moon in Cancer, it makes you a very sensitive, caring, loving, nurturing soul. You want to mother the world. You really want to make everybody feel emotionally secure and happy. And that's not a bad thing. You're the person that people come to because you are compassionate and kind and gentle, and you do have great listening ears and great listening skills, and you don't judge people on an emotional level. So that's good. So try and use your moon in Cancer in a positive sort of way. Now we rev it up a notch or two where we come to the moon in Leo. Now, when I first started in astrology over 30 years ago, when I first read the moon in Leo, I thought, I wouldn't like to have the moon placement there, because it talked about the moon in Leo being somebody that was dramatic, somebody that if they weren't getting their emotional needs met, they could be very theatrical, they could throw tantrums, they were very definite, they were very forthright in look at me, look at me, look at me. I need my emotional needs met, and if I don't get them, well, then I'll throw a tantrum. And I thought, gee, that wouldn't be very nice. And then I realised I had the moon in Leo, so I had to look at how do I behave emotionally. And I thought, no, I hope I don't behave that way. Yes, I can be forthright, and yes, I can be very determined. But then when I started to dig a little bit deeper into astrology, I also found that the moon in Leo gave you a very definite instinct to want to protect what's yours. So if you look back to the Leo being the lion or the king of the jungle. Well, what does the king of the jungle want to do? He wants to rule. He wants to dominate. But he also wants to protect what's his. So the moon in Leo, yes, you can be very, emotionally driven and sort of throw little tantrums if you don't get your own way. But you can also be very protective and go out and fight for the underdog and really sort of put your energy behind somebody if you really believe that they deserve your attention and your ability to help them achieve their goals. This is where the term having a bad hair day comes from, because if you think of the moon in Leo, a lot of people that have the moon in Leo flick their hair back off their forehead. They're said to have long, healthy, happy, healthy hair as to replicate the mane on the line. So you can quite often pick somebody with the moon in Leo, and they do like to adorn themselves with nice clothing and things like that. But if they get out of bed and their hair doesn't go right, they are said to be having a bad hair day, and nothing in their day will go right. So watch out for that if you have some Leo friends. If they say to you, my hair's not sitting right, stay home. Don't go anywhere near them, because they will be in a snappy, snarly mood for the day. So best to give them a wide berth. Now, the final sign we're going to be looking at this week is the moon in Virgo. Now, it's very, very interesting because anytime you think of Virgo, the energy, you automatically think of somebody that's earthy, practical, logical, a bit like an accountant. They have little or no emotion. They're very busy crunching numbers. It's like their brain's like a computer crunching numbers and figures and understanding and remembering what you said 5 years ago, and hang on a minute, you didn't put a full stop in there or a comma. and it's as if they're sort of almost mentally correcting everything you say. Well, I'm pleased to say that when we place the moon here with Virgo, we tone it down a little bit, because the moon in Virgo is still very analytical, but what it does is it analyses their own emotions, how they feel about the situation, how they look at the situation. Is there any way that they can make suggestion for improvement? Do we need to have a discussion? Do we need more information? How are you feeling? They're very aware of the other person's needs, and particularly the other person's emotional needs. Yes, they can seem a little bit distant and sort of emotionless while they've got everything ticking away in their computer brain. But what they're doing is going through all the facts and figures and all the information and all the words that were said and how everybody was feeling and who had a sad look or a happy look on their face when the conversation was going on. It's like they feed all this information into their computer brain, and then out spits the answers of, okay, this is what we need to do to try and improve the situation, and now how can I help you? So if you look at it in that way, so anybody that has the moon in Virgo is slow to make up their mind on an emotional level. But believe you me, when they have, it is extremely thorough, and they will look at things in a very, very positive way. So you need to sort of just understand what is happening with them and look at how that they can sort of help you in that sort of way. So, you know, be a little bit gentle with people that might have the moon in those signs. Next week we'll go on to the next three signs, which will be Libra, Scorpio and Sagittarius. So stay tuned, and I will put some information up on my Facebook page later on tonight so that you can have a little recap of what we've been talking about. We're about to take our first caller, and it's Piper in Redding, California, USA. Piper, are you there?
Yes, I am here. Can you hear me?
I can, Piper. Can you tell me how I can help you today?
I have, I could use a lot of help actually, but I'm really struggling in the department of, I have a major life change decision coming, and well, it's already here, and I'm kind of wavering back and forth, and I'm not really good at decision making anyway, and so that's kind of what I'm calling about. It's going to be a relocation and possible going back to my husband. So that's what I'm calling about today, I guess.
Okay, Piper, first things first, I think you need to look at what is causing these life-changing events. What they're first showing me is there's a series of endings coming up. So that's obvious when you've got life-changing events that we've got endings, change, transformation. But I think one of the things that you're struggling with here, Piper, is not the fact of indecision of trying to make the decision. It's your fear of making the wrong decision. And I feel that's the biggest part that's holding you back. It's not, it's like I don't wish to go backwards. I want to make sure that this next change is the right change. Is that fairly on the money with how you're feeling?
Sure, yeah, I would say so. I'm going to be 50 years old, and I guess I've made so many changes, rarely stayed in any space longer than 5 years. This is probably the longest that I've been in any one place. I'm usually always going, and I just want to get somewhere and settle and, just stop the whole, running in upheavalness of everything. I want to kind of grow into my mature age, not be. So, yeah, I want it to be the right decision. Of course, I have a fear of that for sure.
Yeah, but Piper, I think you've been too hard on yourself too. Just because you haven't stayed in one place more than 5 years, that was what you were meant to do. In that time of doing that, you've learnt, you've grown, you've made some great decisions, and you've made some not so great decisions. But all of them have been a stepping stone to get you to where you are now. So I'm going to say to you, I do feel within the next 2 weeks, you'll just get up one morning and the decision will be there and it'll be crystal clear, and you'll think, right, this is what I'm going to do. I feel very clear. I feel very confident. This is what I'm going to be doing. I really question whether or not going back to your marriage is the right answer. I just sort of feel there's still question marks around that, as if there's unresolved issues from the past, things that we haven't come to terms with, both of you, not just you, both of you haven't come to terms with. Is this just a situation because it's familiar and I'm going back there for that reason, or do you both truly still love each other? I think that's the number one question there.
That's the number one question. That makes sense because, of course, if we love each other, then it doesn't really matter where we are, right? So,
no, it's sort of something both have to look at because you've both changed.
Yes,
so, we need to look at this as almost like a brand new situation. It's like boy meets girl, let's start dating again, let's start to get to know each other, even though history. But I think if we can take it back to that simplistic term, I think then you'll both get the answers to whether or not this union or reunion is the correct thing for both of you. And, it may be and it may not be. I mean, they're not showing me a clear-cut conclusion at the moment. So I'm going to take from that this is karmic. This is meant to be, that the two of you are meant to revisit this. And, the future is still unwritten. How both of you feel at what the end result will be. But I know that both of you will approach it this time with a lot more honesty and a lot more consideration for the other person, which was something I feel was lacking the first time round in your marriage. You both seemed to be so obsessed with where you were going and what you were doing, and there was sometimes very little time to consider the other person's needs. And I think that was one of the major things that caused the breakdown then. But now you're both a bit more mature. You look at things through a different lens now, and that's a good thing. I do feel that you will be making a major move. June, to me, seems to be when the decision's going to be made, and I think you'll be sort of packing up and moving probably within a month to 6 weeks after that, and you'll be very clear about where you're going and what you're hoping to achieve, and you'll know in your soul it's the right thing to do, and that's a good place to be.
Yes, it is. That sounds great. Yeah, that sounds about exactly where that sounds right. I really appreciate your help today.
My pleasure. So have a great night, Piper. Thank you for calling.
You too. Thanks. Good night.
Good night. And we now have Annette from New Jersey. Annette, can I help you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, sweetie. How can we help you tonight?
Well, I just want to see if there is any message out there for me. It's been trying times lately, so anything would help.
Okay, Annette. The first thing that they're showing me is it's like you've been like a set of scales going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's like I want to say, let's stop that. Let's stop sort of this going up and down business, trying to decide what it is that you think you should be doing next. Let's just sort of still everything and just allow things to come towards you. I do feel this last 12 months has been very difficult on an emotional front. There seem to be a lot of changes there, a lot of endings. You said goodbye to some people, and there was a lot of things there that were out of your control. And I feel what they've done is left you feeling sort of washed out. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm a wrung-out dish rag. I've got nothing left in me to give anybody, let alone myself. And this is why I want to see you take your time, slow down a little bit, and just let things start to come to you. We don't always have to be doing something. I think that's one of the misconceptions of being a human being. We always think we've got to have a project on the go, we should be running here or doing this or doing that, and we feel guilty if we stop and just take some time to do nothing. Yeah, and that's exactly what I want you to do, is take some time and do nothing. We'll do something that puts a smile on your face. Many, many years ago when my children were little, I used to get up every morning and race around and make sure the house was immaculate and I was immaculate and everything was immaculate. I got up one day and I thought, well, that's a bit mad, isn't it? Why do we put this pressure on ourselves and instead of enjoying what we've got? You know what I mean? Everything. And I feel you've been doing that. So I want to say to you, you can sit down and do nothing. Watch a movie. Take yourself to the park for a walk. Go and have a coffee. The ironing will still be there when you come home. I do feel by August, though, there will be some massive changes by August. I'm actually seeing a new job, and I'm not sure that was one of the things that you were thinking of.
Actually, I am up in the air with everything at this point. Major changes in my life and not knowing the direction. And, yes, that was one of the things I was thinking about, is maybe I need a new job.
Yeah, I think we should start there. I think if we start there with the new job, and as I said, I want you to just not put any pressure on yourself for a little while now. I mean, if it takes, June and July and you don't get any sort of great insight till August, well, that's okay. The world's not going to stop. But I feel in August, to me, is sort of when we rev everything up. It's like I've got insight, I've got answers, I know where I'm going, and it's like the job change comes first. And with that, then comes clarity about other areas of your life that you need to change. I don't actually see you're going to move, and I don't think moving home is necessary. I think you'll make some changes around the home, and it might just be moving the couch from one location to another, and you think, oh, that looks better. I feel like a different person now. And that's good, because sometimes just moving something simple like that can give us a feeling of, oh, that's great. You know, I've got some more clarity. Why, you don't know, but it just feels right. And sometimes it's just a matter of moving energy around that actually starts to break things down in our lives. But the other thing that they were showing me very clearly, Annette, was the fact that I feel that you're getting some very strong messages. There seems to be quite a bit of spirit activity around you. I'm not sure that you've been completely aware of this, but you think, well, am I going mad, or did I really see that, or did I really think that, or was somebody giving me that message? And you're questioning these things.
Yes, yes, I am.
Yeah, don't question it, sweetie, because the more you question it, actually the more you stop it. If you just look at it and think, well, I was driving down the street and I know that street sign says Smith Street, but it said Blue Cow. Well, why would it say that when I know it's Smith Street? That's okay, because that's a message from Spirit. So you think, well, what does Blue Cow mean? Don't know. Write it down in your notepad and it'll come to you. It'll be their way of trying to make a connection with you. And sometimes they give us very random, ridiculous things because they know it will get our attention. Where if they gave us something that we knew and understood, we might sort of ignore it and think, oh, that was just wishful thinking, or maybe I just wanted to see that. Do you know what I mean? But if it's something random, it really does get our attention. I'm also picking up some very, very strong, vivid dreams. There mightn't be many of them, but there will be 2 or 3 that will be really strong, really vivid, but really peculiar and confusing at the same time. Can I suggest get up, write them down, how you felt, what position they might have been in the dream, if you had particular type of clothing on or coloured clothing on, write that down too, because it's a bit like a jigsaw puzzle. You'll be able to put the pieces together, and in that will actually be some answers. So first and foremost, I think, do nothing, let yourself have some time off and just go with the flow. Then I think in August there will be a job change. We're going to move some furniture around. Who's the dark-headed man? And I've got a love heart around him.
Someone that's passed?
Possibly, because I sort of felt like he was coming back towards you.
Okay, dark-haired. I'm not sure. I mean, I have co-workers that is dark-haired.
Yeah, but there's never been a romantic interest there, has there?
Not that I'm aware of at this point.
No, I sort of I don't want to go with anybody that's currently around you at the moment. I want to go with somebody that goes maybe 5-6 years ago. I've got a 5 and a 6 around it, so I'm not sure whether that means May and the month was, we started dating in the June, but I've got a 5 and a 6. I don't think it means he's 56. But I do know that this man is coming back towards you, and I did feel that there had been a connection there. Whether or not it had actually been in a relationship, or whether, you met him and it was the wrong time because you were involved with someone else and you sort of thought, nice guy but wrong timing, I'm not sure. Because he's he's coming back towards me, but he's not giving me anything much to work with other than he's from the past. So I'm taking from that there's no one significant in your life at the moment.
Not at the moment.
Okay.
No.
But I'm not sure that he's the right one either. What I'm going to say is let's use that as a marker in time. So if somebody contacts you on, through social media or something like that, and it's somebody you knew 5, 6, 7 years ago, and they've got dark hair and they're sort of saying, oh, hi, how are you going? I'm coming to town, thought we might catch up for a coffee. I'm not saying don't go and do that. But what I'm saying is let's use that as the marker in time of your life starting to really gear up, so that you then sort of know, right, from that point, things are going to be going really fast. I am seeing you coming into your life, but I'm not seeing it until towards the end of the year, around October. Seems to be when new love is crossing your path, and it's sort of like by then you've changed your job, you've moved the furniture around. I think you've even got a new look. You've gone and had a new hairdo and you've bought some new clothes. This other person's contacted you, and then bingo, in comes this man that's got the bluey-green coloured eyes. He's got sandy blonde hair, and I feel he's going to cross your path It's going to be a very sudden situation. You will be out. It's like you're out walking in the park or doing something like that on your way to somewhere, and stop to sit down and have a rest for a minute, and he sort of comes up and sits down next to you and strikes up a conversation. That's how you'll meet. And then I think it's going to be very quick after that. But I really like him. He's very tall, broad-shouldered, but a thin man. And I feel both of you have been through some very, very similar things in your life. So this connection will be instant. It'll be great. It's positive. It's very open. And I think it's going to lead to a very serious and very positive relationship. So, Annette, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to do a reading for you. And I know that your life is going forward. So have a great night. And thank you for the call.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much for the call and the reading. You have a wonderful evening.
I will. Thank you, Annette. Have a great night. Thank you. So we've come to the end of the show again. I know, that the show does move fairly quickly, and it seems like, we're here 1 minute and gone the next, but we will be back again next week. And on next week's show, we'll be continuing on with our 4-part series of the moon. As I said earlier, Libra, Scorpio and Sagittarius's turn next week, and we will have the card of the day, of the week, the Simply Tarot card of the week. So I look forward to seeing you again next week. And don't forget the launch of our amazing new baby, Secrets of Tarot, available directly from us. I'm not sure where it's being sold worldwide at the moment, but it will be going worldwide. So we look forward to connecting with you and enjoying your psychic journey with us here on A1R Psychic Radio and Moonstruck TV. Bye for now.